Hi everyone, I'm Suraj Narvade. In this talk, I'm going to talk about how we scaled Backstage Tech Insight with a push-based model. In my other talk, I have showcased what Tech Insight is and also shared my detailed blog post. Do check it out. The focus of this talk is what happens when the default setup we discussed earlier starts creating maintenance problem as things grow. Very quickly on me, I'm a platform engineer at NatWest Boxed, and most of my work experience sits around Kubernetes, Backstage, and platform tooling and the experience around it. Now, most platform teams do not struggle to justify service maturity. The benefits are obvious: better security posture, better operational standards, clearer ownership, and the fewer surprises. The harder question is this: can the system you use to measure the maturity scale, uh, scale as cleanly as the standard themselves? Because if the answer is no, your measurement platform becomes another source of drag. And that's really the bridge between my previous talk and this one. Once the visibility model works, the next challenge is scaling the architecture behind it. This is the default model many of us starts with. Fact Retriever lives inside the Backstage plugin code. It runs on a schedule. It pulls the data from various systems. It feeds the everything to the Tech Insight. Now, for small number of retrievers, this is completely reasonable. The problem is not that pattern is wrong. The problem is that centralizing all the retrievers inside the Backstage repo creates coupling that becomes more expensive over the period of time. Now, this is the default pull model diagram. As we can see, the Backstage core, which is the front end and the back end, the plugins, all the fact retrievers, they live in one repo. And as you can see, it's everything together. Now, what breaks at first, right? When we scale, these were the pain points we started to see. Every retriever added dependencies. Every dependency increased vulnerability scanning noise and the maintenance overhead. Every Backstage upgrade becomes harder to reason about because the retriever code and the Backstage code now they were moving together. Because of this, the contribution to this system got narrower than it should be. Because now team had to work through the Backstage repo and all its conventions, often in TypeScript, whether that made sense to them or not. None of these issues kill the model immediately, but together they make the platform harder to evolve. Now, this was the key question for us. Why does service specific data collection mechanism, the fact retriever, need to ship with the developer portal, which is Backstage, right? The Backstage and retrievers often have different owner, different release cycle, and different technology choices. It could be, right? Once we knew what was hurting, the goal became pretty clear. We did not want to replace Tech Insight. It works absolutely fine. We wanted to decouple the data collection logic from the Backstage itself. That meant fewer dependency inside the Backstage, fewer reasons so that upgrade become risky, and the contribution model that let team uses the tools that they already know, right? Now it could be the choice of language they want to write retrievers in. But we still wanted Tech Insight to remain the shared place where the standards are evaluated and visualized because it's a great project. Once we understand the problem, the goal were clear. We wanted to keep Tech Insight, but decouple the data collection from Backstage releases. That meant fewer dependency in the Backstage and easier way for teams to contribute. Now, the architecture shift is simple to describe. Move from pull to push. Instead of hosting retriever logic inside the Backstage, let teams or platform owned jobs build facts in their own environment, in their own namespace alongside their source code, right? Which makes sense to them, right? That then push those facts to the centralized endpoint. Backstage will still own the maturity model, the checks and the scorecard and the visualization, everything. But it no longer needs to own the every piece of collection logic. This is what new model looks like. The Backstage core, which is the front end and the back end, which is still there. We have Tech Insight, which is still there, but we are introducing two new things. Okay, Fact Retriever Factory and the Fact API server. Now, let's look at the Fact Retriever Factory. This is the key enabling piece here. The job of the factory is not to force everyone into one implementation. Its job is to standardize the contract. Okay. And as you can see, all it does is it reads the Backstage config where there will be a fact retriever definition, which we'll see pretty soon. And it registers those fact retrievers in the Tech Insight. That's it, right? Now, let's look at this. Now, defining the fact retriever, which we saw, is pretty easy and simple. We just define similar config in the YAML. Now, in this case, we have this nwbox Tech Insight retriever. Now, the name of the retriever, and it is also the fact whether the sneak is configured or not. As simple as that. We add some filters and the schema, like, what is the type of this fact, right? As simple as that. And we made a decision that we'll keep one fact per fact retriever so that it's easy to manage and maintain. That's why the name of the fact retriever and the fact is same here, right? Now, registering the fact retriever is as easy as this. Now, let's move on to activating the fact retriever. Now, this is standard given by the Tech Insight plugin itself, right? We can activate the name of the fact retriever, provide some cadence, and provide some life cycle as well. Okay. Now, you may wonder what is inside these generic facts fact retriever created by the fact retriever factory. All it does is it hits the fact API server on a given cadence. That's it, right? Now, as you can see, as I mentioned, all the job of fact retriever is hit the fact API server endpoint. That's it, right? Now, let's look at this diagram. Okay. We have the generic fact retriever, which we created earlier. It registered my fact retriever using the factory. It will fetch the facts from my API server periodically. That's it. Very simple. We'll see the endpoint very soon, how it looks like. The fact poster job, which is owned by a team, it runs in their own environment, own namespace. The languages, their own choice. They are not bounded by TypeScript. Okay. And they will push this fact to this fact retriever. And then our server will store these facts in its own database provided by Backstage. Now, very simple endpoint given by Backstage. Okay. Now, teams implementing this fact retrieval logic, okay, all they have to do is push facts to this endpoint. That's it. That's what they have to do. And what they have to push? Simply a list of these, entity reference, the name of the fact, and the value of the fact. That's it. Now, in whatever language they write their logic, it doesn't matter as long as they are following the contract and pushing this logic. Inside this generic fact retriever, all it does is get on the fact API server itself with some additional parameters such as, get me for this entity, for example. That's it. Now, after doing all this, how does the contribution looks like? Okay. Before, A team wanting to add maturity signal often had to touch the Backstage repo, work within its release process, bring their dependency into the Backstage. Okay. Now, after doing all this, it can stay in their own repo. They can write the job in their language of which fits the system they are integrating with. They can, and they push the facts to the shared, the API server we talked about. For platform team, that means review surfaces moves away from, arbitrary retriever code, but towards the standard contract and trust boundaries. Now, you might say you're still touching the Backstage repo, right? But we are just adding the YAML configuration. That's it. And that can be very easily managed and maintained. Now, this decoupling, which we added with this new thing, the API server and the factory, is not free, right? You trade one class of problem for another. You reduce the code coupling and the dependency sprawl, which is great. Like personally for me, it was absolutely great because now my Sneak dashboard looks much better. Okay. But now you need a well-designed ingestion boundaries. The fat API server we talk about, we need to be very strict in it that what we are accepting, the thing which we are getting, we need to have some validation in place, whether the component exists or not, some sort of authorization, we need to think about what happens when the data goes stale, how you observe the health of this ingestion path. Now, that is better problem to have in my personal opinion, and it's a real engineering problem, rather than going through the dependency, uh, vulnerability and all those loops. Okay, so that's about it. Now, for me, this is the bigger platform lesson. Centralizing the things that need consistency, like standards and visibility, the checks and fact retrieval, and decoupling the things that changes often and belong closer to the teams, like the collection logic which we talk about. Now, that is how you avoid turning the platform into the bottleneck. Few other lessons here were when the team's pushing their fact, they should batch process the logic they are sending to, because let's say you have a 2 3 thousand components and you are sending all at once, Backstage may not be able to handle that. So that's one of the key lesson we noticed as well. So to close, the point of this change was not to be clever, it was to make Tech Insight easier to scale operationally. If your maturity model is valuable, but your collection model is making Backstage harder to maintain, it is worth rethinking the boundary, decoupling the collection logic, keeping the standard central, and make contribution easier without making the platform messier. Thank you.